So the Steam Deck pricing has finally come out, and its price range is pretty ridiculous. It's starting off at the lowest spec at 512 gigabytes without any controller at $1,049, going all the way up to 2 terabytes with a controller at $1,428. Now, the pricing on this is just awful. However, if we actually go into here and we look at the pricing based on UK prices, because that's where I'm from, and the US prices are normally inflated just a bit because of all their economic problems that are going on right now, whether it's tariffs or whatever it is. Don't forget, those prices I just mentioned here are without tax. Each state has their own regulation for tax. That's going to go up even more. But if we look at this price over here, this is like a standard pricing, all tax included and everything. It's got a Zen 4 processor, it's RDNA free, 16 gigabytes of RAM, 512 gigabytes. It's at £879. Now, I think at 599, this would have been just about okay. I really think this would have, the specs that we have here are really more akin to about 399, 499. But at 879, this is ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. It does go up to £938 with the controller, but you are saving a bit of money if you actually get the combo. So that's not so much a bad thing. It's the 2 terabyte one that starts to look a bit more crazy. It's priced at £1,149, and if you get it with the controller, £1,208. Now, the problem you have with this is that you can build a better PC for around the same price. And that's where the drawback comes. Now, the reason why this is probably as expensive as it actually is isn't because of the specs, but it's actually the form factor that it's built. Now, this was designed naturally to, slot into the space in your living room under your TV to be that PC in your living room. And that form factor has come at a cost. In my opinion, based on these prices, Valve should have just said, you know what, we're going to delay it until the pricing goes down. But I have an inkling that they've foreseen that these prices aren't going down. In fact, might actually go up even more. So these prices, if you don't buy them now, could essentially go up more. Now, if you already have a PC and you can connect it to your living room, or this was going to be something for your side, I can totally see you not being interested in this anymore. It's completely priced itself out of the market. It's going to be something that is completely and utterly niche. Now, I was considering getting this for my kid, and if it was something like 499, I probably would have bit the bullet and got it for him as a surprise. But because he's using one of those NUC PCs, and it's perfectly fine for him. But a little bit of an upgrade wouldn't have gone, would have gone a long way. But at this price point, it's honestly, it's just not worth it. You are way better off. You're paying more for the form factor here than you are for the actual specs themselves. And I think that's where the ultimate cost actually came in. Now, this is on average 2 times bigger than a GameCube, which is just to give you a rough size for it. But yeah, man, this is everyone was kind of expecting this to go one way, and it really didn't. Now, when you're looking at the actual specs, Gamers Nexus here has a video on it, and I will link that in the description below. These were posted in my Discord, so this is where I've actually picked these up. So that's why I'm going to post a link to the Gamers Nexus video, so you can actually go check that out and see what it is in context even more, because I don't want to encroach on their content. But you can see, like, in a generation immediately behind the Steam machine, this is the closest match to it, and this is ahead of it. And even that 50-50, for example, on Final Fantasy 14, clearly the most important game in this list, right, is surpassing what that is doing. You've got this over here, which gives you a breakdown of cost. And you can see that if you're building a comparative PC, this is based on US pricing, mind you, that the Steam machine is $71 more expensive. And this is where I said the form factor really did kick in for the Steam machine. Because the Steam machine is really small, right? It's not a big machine. It's a small ATX box. And the smaller these things are, the more expensive it gets. It does make me wonder if they actually built it with a full ATX in mind, would this have been maybe a couple of $100 or a couple of £100 cheaper than it is now? Did they sacrifice the price for having a better form factor? And I really do believe that is the case here, because these specs are nothing to write home about, and you can get better with better performance just by paying an extra 50 or $100 or £100. It's not great. And this is the one over here. Now the premium edition actually does come. Now the premium edition here is actually cheaper for the Steam machine than it is building your own. And that is essentially because of the 2 terabyte drive. It does look like Steam is eating some of that cost for that. And that's a good thing, but I do think that they've still priced themselves out of the market. When you're looking at a 512 gigabyte, you're not really getting anything there outside of indies. There should have at the very least been a 1 terabyte for that price, but at 512, it's ludicrous. They have announced that you can pretty much do what you want on this, and as you can see down here, I believe it was down here, it's a PC. Yes, the machine is optimized for gaming, but it's still your PC. Install your own apps or even another operating system, essentially Windows. Who are we to tell you how to use your computer? Now, this is not competing with the likes of PlayStation or Xbox, but it is kind of moving into that market as a small factor console. And I just think they've priced themselves out of the market, just like the PS5 Pro has. At this point, when you're looking at how ludicrous the PS5 Pro price is, and you're looking, and people were calling the PS5 Pro a scam, this is pretty much on that level. Yes, PC does have the advantages of flexibility, but it's still just way too expensive. At least it's too expensive for me. I just can't justify this price point. And if I was going to go for any of them, I would be going for this one just for the extra headroom in hard drive space. But looking at the performance, and we've started to see some of that, it really relies on the upscaler. It's barely hitting 60 in some games. If you have a powerful PC already, there's zero reason to get this. Add to the fact that it doesn't look like you can upgrade this at all, maybe outside of the SSD. It just diminishes in value more and more. Now, looking at comments, you can see over here from Peter that 650 would have been an easy purchase. I think even 650 is a bit too much. 599 would have been a decent enough purchase for this. Market conditions have kneecapped this out the gate, and the fact that they pushed ahead and didn't delay tells me that we can expect this nonsense in hardware space for a while yet, which is a bit disappointing, right? You got Gaming Ledger, defending the PS5 as he always does. Peter's telling him here that it's not a console. This dude over here, Addy, now says that Switch 2 sales are about to go up for whatever ludicrous reason that may be. They're both different devices aimed at different markets. But essentially, the most consistent thing here is the price. RDNA 3 kills it. You can buy OEM PCs with 9070 XT or a 5070 12GB at the same price point as the Steam machine with controller, Ryzen 7, 32GB of RAM, 1TB SSD, 12GB RTX 5070 from iBuy. Yeah, I'd go self-built myself. It's $1,200. You can see that this over here is way better than what the Steam machine is. But the Steam machine does have the form factor, and that's where the pricing is coming in and taking over. You've got over here, I was hoping to get one as a secondary device for my living room, but I just can't justify spending that sort of money. Will just stick with playing my current PC at my desk. Or, you could just, if it's close to your TV, you can put the HDMI cable into your TV and off you go. It works. But the PS5 looked like a bargain. Remember all the PC guys that called the PS5 Pro a scam? Yeah, hope they don't choke on that crow. No one's going to choke on that crow. Both statements can be true. Is the Steam machine right now a scam? Yes, at that price, it is, because you can build something pretty much for the same price, if not a little more, but you'll get something way better and way more durable, and you have the added flexibility of being able to upgrade it whenever you like to something better, just through individual parts. But when you're looking at these prices, I mean, it's fair you might not want the controller, so I'm not going to look at that one. I'm just going to look at the base device on its own. These prices are just silly. If you were to get one, I would definitely recommend getting the 2 terabyte. The 512 gigabyte is not worth it. But At 1,149, I can't justify this. I can't even recommend this. Now, I know the Steam Bros out there are going to defend this like there's no tomorrow, and they're more than welcome to. But this price, this should have been half the price, and then we'd be talking. See, this one over here, 399. This one, fine. 549.99, 599 max. But we're talking almost half the price it should have been, and it's not. And the reality is, I just think these machines are way too expensive. It does highlight one new problem, though. If these machines are coming out at this price, and Valve can subsidize these with the Steam store because you're going to have Steam OS built onto these, and you're going to have, and you're going to be inside their walled gardens, so you'll be buying their games, and so realistically, you're going to be stuck into their ecosystem. And that's where they want you. They don't want you going out to another ecosystem. They want you stuck in their ecosystem, which is what a normal company does. They could have subsidized this. Now, it does make you think that with the Helix, which is basically a Series X and a PC in one, at least that's what it's assumed, and the specs are supposed to be like insanely crazy. If this thing is coming out at 1,149, how much is the Helix going to cost if it comes out at its prophesized specs? Now, there's already talks about all access being utilized and allowing people to pay for their consoles through monthly installment payments. I don't know. I've never been a fan of going into debt to get something that's not really a mortgage or anything like that. So, honestly, my advice would be not to do something like that. Your money, you can do what you want. And honestly, if the prices are like this, the next generation of gaming is going to not do great in terms of hardware sales. We've already seen the slump in consoles quite drastically since the price increase. Sony has reported, I think it's double quarters now for drop in sales of consoles drastically. It's not a good time. Not a good time. But the Steam machine priced at this point, this just instantly made me not want it at all. Half the price, I was interested. And that was, for the 2 terabyte edition. And even then, I was thinking it would come with a controller. But at 1,149, no matter how much I wanted one of these to tinker with, to play around with on my channel, I just can't justify the price. I just can't. So, good luck to anyone that wants to buy one. You can join the list, but in my opinion, this is just a scam straight out the box. Not worth it. So, yeah, not worth the purchase. Even if the form factor looks awesome, which I think it does personally. I like the sleek cube esque, design. I like the face off design, but they sacrificed the price way too much for that design. And I do believe that a lot of the pricing went into keeping that small of a factor in that box to keep the price. And that's what escalated the price. If they had the box 2 times bigger, I'd say, or maybe at the size of the Series X, maybe a little bit bigger. I mean, this is a PC after all. It's designed as a PC. I think the price, you would have seen at least maybe 250 knocked off the price. And at that point, even the 512 gigabyte at that point might have been a bit more approachable. It is what it is, folks. The price is finally out. Now we wait for what the Helix is going to be priced at. They're respecking the system as of right now because they don't believe that the current spec can be released at an affordable price. So let's see what's going to happen with that one. All right, folks. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, hit that bell to stay up to date with all content I release, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out and remain legend, folks.